here today at the OECD forum in Paris, and we've been participating in a discussion around the Asian century. Basically the question to a panel was, are we now entering a century where the Asian economy will be rising up the global value chain, and how important is the Asian market to manufacturers like Kia? So I've been explaining about our growth over the last 4 years, explaining how we've gone from a 1.5 million unit car company to just over 2.7 million in 4 units. And talked around where that growth's come from. Clearly we have a very strong position in the domestic Korean market today, and we've seen opportunity to grow in the more established mature markets like the US and Europe, and hence opening manufacturing facilities in those markets has given us an opportunity, along with our repositioning of the brand, where we've moved very much from what may have been perceived in some of those mature markets as a budget brand to one that is now very much around quality, design and value for money. So I was explaining that's been a big part of our growth over the last 4 years, but clearly also, as well as those mature markets where we want to grow share, there is a great opportunity in the Asian market, which of course is where we're expecting to see for the automotive industry such a big growth over the next few years. And China of course is a great example of that. It is already today the biggest passenger car market in the world, and explaining that we are now in the process with our 3rd manufacturing plant in China to realise that opportunity. So that was very much the positioning about how Kia has become one of the Asian multinational companies that has really been able to grow and become an established global company and global brand. We also talked about the skill requirements for Asian companies, and in fact more globally, and I've talked about how the automotive industry has moved on so significantly in the last 20 years from the sort of skill set that was required for automotive manufacturing back in the 80s to now requiring a higher skill set, very much with a lot of information technology requirements in cars, obviously all the advanced alternative fuel development. So that became a bit of a theme for us, and then finally the topic turned to automation, and the question was asked again generally, but I talked specifically around automotive. What is the situation with now the automation, a lot of robots in manufacturing plants, and just explaining that actually that doesn't mean you don't have people. In fact, people are still very important in terms of you can't leave the plant to just build cars on its own. It's supporting the efficiency of the operation. So I gave the example that in our Zelina plant, which is over 300,000 units of capacity, we still employ more than 3,900 people. And the reality is that actually what the automation does, it doesn't reduce labour, it doesn't take labour away, but of course enables you to be more efficient. So a general good debate really around how important is the Asian market to all industries and businesses. I've obviously specifically talked about how it's important for us and how we are a successful Asian company that is growing and improving the global value that we add across the world. So good discussion, and I think the conclusion was that yes, Asia is a very important market and will continue to grow in terms of its importance with the growing middle classes through this century.